I find a lot of and multi-six-figure entrepreneurs, especially in the coaching industry, are always talking about competition and, oh, there's so much noise and everybody's calling themselves a coach and everybody's doing all this stuff. Yeah, but again, if you start investing like a 7-figure entrepreneur and start showing up at a higher level, if you just pour into yourself, you won't have to worry about the noise and the competition. Who do you need to be in order to have 7 figures, right? You need to be that person first and then allow the 7 figures to show up. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things. Seriously, you should see my schedule. And I'm also super passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6 or even 7-figure personal brand. And in today's video, we're literally talking about that. We're talking about scaling your coaching business from 6 to 7 figures. And this is such a special topic for me because this is something that I have done over the previous year. So in 2021, I didn't hit 7 figures. It was something that I had wanted to do for several years. I got sort of close. I think I was at like 650,000 or so, which is not bad, like really great for my business. But 2022 was just an amazing, just crazy year where we hit 7 figures, which in the first 3 or even 4 months, which is just like banana and still feels super crazy to say. But the one thing that I've been kind of watching myself for and watching my own journey is on the different things that I've had to do in order to really bridge that gap. Because I'll be real with you, like wanting to hit 7 figures is something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. And I felt very frustrated by being stuck, quote unquote, in, you know, the multi-6-figure stage of my business, which I know is like totally champagne problems, but I'm just being real. I wanted to hit that next level and I couldn't figure out not what I was doing wrong, but like what else I needed to do. And so I know many of you watching this might be silently watching this in the same position. Maybe you followed me for a long time. Maybe we're in the same industry, or you're a peer or even a friend of mine and you're watching this video and you're like, girl, yes, I've been watching you, right? I'm in the 6 or multi-6-figure level and I've been looking to leap to the 7-figure, but I can't figure out like, what's that missing thing? Ho, this is the video for you because we're gonna get into all of that right now. All right, the first thing that I needed to do in order to scale from 6, multi-6 to 7 figures is that I needed to start offering higher value offers. That literally was like, I'd say the first major thing that really kind of kicked off the growth that I've seen in my business. So I would say before 2022, I was still kind of doing low to moderate ticket programs. And I still do have some low to moderate ticket programs. So I don't think that it's a bad thing. But I think it took me so long to get to the place in my business where I was even considering offering high value offers that obviously you can charge a higher price for, because I have been fortunate to have had an audience for a number of years. So I've been online building my brand since 2009. I've been full-time in my business since 2016. So, you know, I've had a lot of Instagram followers for a while. My YouTube channel has grown, which is really great. But, you know, my social media platforms, you know, obviously not on Kim Kardashian level, but, you know, like substantial, right? So had a substantial email list, so I could, quote unquote, get away with selling lower ticket and medium ticket offers because I had the volume to support it. And that's also why I always say new coaches who are just building their brand, they have it backwards, where they think because they're new that they need to be offering like $27 ebooks and $97 trainings and like low ticket stuff. And I'm like, no, it's the complete opposite. If you're new and you don't have an audience, you need to start at the top because the amount of clients that you're gonna be able to close is smaller. And so you need higher dollar amounts for the clients that you're closing. So start at the top and then work your way down. Don't work your way, or start at the bottom and then try to work your way up. But that's essentially what I had done. And I was having a level of success with it, but it was actually keeping me from 7 figures, where I feel like if I had a smaller audience, I would have realized I needed to make the pivot a lot sooner. But, you know, better late than never. So really in 2020 was when I started to make that transition. Again, just seeing the influx of people coming online with their businesses or looking to do online things because of the pandemic and all of that. It was really just a great opportunity for me to sit within myself and say, you know what, Courtney, you have a lot of value that you are not offering. And I bet there are people in your audience who are willing to pay you at a higher level if you would just sit down and create something for them. So coming up with those higher value offers was like a huge thing in my business to get me from 6 to 7 figures, because I was able to start closing higher dollar transactions and still maintain the volume that I was, maintaining, which is kind of crazy because you think when you charge more, you're gonna, be dealing with less clients. But I was like dealing with the same amount of clients, but now they were just paying me more, which was really awesome. And so the growth really started to pick up from there. And so along those lines, something else that has really made a huge difference in my business is having highly consistent content. Now, as I said, I've been online for a long time, so I've always had a level of consistency, but even if you've been on this YouTube channel, you've seen over the last year or so, and certainly over the last few months, the level of consistency, like I have really, really turned it up a notch. And that could be a double-edged sword. I think that keeps a lot of people from crossing the 6 and multi-6-figure level to the 7-figure level is because oftentimes when you're at the 6 and multi-6-figure level, you can feel very tired because you are like kind of doing all of the things in your business and you're trying to get more clients, and it's like, oh, what else do I have to do? And so for someone to tell you, hey, you need to be even more consistent with your content in order to get to the 7-figure level can kind of feel like, oh, like a gut punch, like, oh my goodness, another thing that I need to do. But I'm telling you, if you just hang in there, like literally, like give it like 2-3 months of really being consistent and stepping up your content game, it starts to reduce a lot of the stress in your business because things pick up, right? It's like a hockey stick. Like you start getting more clients at an exponential level, you start closing them at higher prices, you're able to, invest more in your business, you're able to build a team. It really just creates a beautiful cycle for yourself, but you gotta be willing to do the grunt work in the beginning of being ultra consistent with that content. So even if you think you've been consistent before, and obviously you have been, if you're operating at the 6 or 7-figure level, just understand that to get to the 7-figure level, you're gonna have to be consistent at a level that you previously hadn't been before, right? So like, for instance, in 2020, I was doing 1 YouTube video every week. 2022, I'm doing 1 video every day. So I don't wanna lie to you, but highly consistent content really made a huge difference in helping me get from 6 to the 7-figure level. All right, along those lines, so still talking about content, consistent content made a big deal. But quality of content, I think, made an even bigger deal. So I talk about this a lot on my podcast and certainly in my coaching programs, but I always speak on this idea that you have to be the person that has the results that you're looking for before you get the results, right? And so I've told my story, on this channel before, but how I was messing up in college. I had a full ride engineering scholarship and lost it because I was so focused on entrepreneurship, trying to start businesses, that I quit going to school. And so my GPA plummeted and I lost my scholarship, and I started working a gazillion jobs and getting into all this debt and everything, just trying to stay afloat and to get into school. And so I realized that I needed to get really committed to school and get my grades back up, get another scholarship and all those things. And what I find was at that time, I didn't say, okay, I'm gonna start going to class consistently when I have an A, right? Or I'm gonna start, talking to the teacher's assistant or going to study groups when I have a 3.5 GPA. Like, that sounds ridiculous. It's like you need to do those things to have those things. Exactly. And so it's the same thing in your business. You're looking at the 7-figure result, asking yourself, what is it that I'm not doing? But I'm saying, who is it that you're not being, right? How does a 7-figure coach, personal brand, service provider, business owner, how do they operate? How do they think? How do they carry themselves in the world? How do they show up online? However that is, you need to start operating like that now and then allow the 7 figures to catch up. And so I started operating like a 7-figure business owner, which leads me to the 4th point, which I'll get into in just a second. But first, I want to hear from you. Are you a 6-figure entrepreneur scaling to 7 figures? Go ahead and share it in the comments below. All right, so that leads me to the 4th point, which to operate and to show up like a 7-figure earner, you need to invest, invest, invest. Not even kidding, right? And I'm not even just talking about investing in coaches, even though obviously if you're a coach, you should totally have a coach. Like, don't be a hypocrite, right? So I invested in 2 coaches. Last year, I invested over $30,000 in one coach, over nearly $60K in another mastermind, and that was a group coaching program. But I invested heavily in coaching, not just for like the strategies and the methodology, even though I learned a lot of methods that definitely helped me in terms of my marketing and growing my business, but really that mindset. But I also invested heavily in my team, in vendors and other experts to really help me out with what I was doing. So as you can see right now, I'm doing this video. I'm not shooting this, y'all. This is not my camera, right? Working with my videographer. I've mentioned in previous videos how I've released my signature program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp, and I believe it's truly one of the best programs on the market, in part because I hired an instructional design team to help me map that program out to ensure that my clients got results. I have operations manager, a project manager. I have people who help me with social media. Like, I went heavy and I started investing in my business. In fact, I would say this year, 2022, is the most I've like ever spent on my business, right? It's the most I've made, but it's the most that I've spent. And here's the thing, I started spending that money before I started making that money. And that's what I'm saying. Who do you need to be in order to have 7 figures, right? You need to be that person first and then allow the 7 figures to show up. For many 6 and multi-6 figure entrepreneurs, and I know it was the case because that was the case for me, you feel good, you're making a level of money, and so you like want to save as much money as possible because you're like, I want to go shopping, I want to go on trips, like I don't want to spend any more money, like I want to enjoy this money. You know, you can do that, but just understand that you're going to stay stuck at that 6 and multi-6 figure level. If you want to get to the 7 figure level, you're going to have to open that hand and let some of that money go by investing into your business, but trusting that it's going to come back huge, like in huge returns, like 10x what you're putting in because you're operating at such a high level. And another thing that's really crazy about it is I find a lot of 6 and multi-6 figure entrepreneurs, especially in the coaching industry, are always talking about competition and, oh, there's so much noise and everybody's calling themselves a coach and everybody's doing all this stuff. Yeah, but again, if you start investing like a 7-figure entrepreneur and start showing up at a higher level, and it's just beyond, again, you know, your graphics or your video quality, even though that's part of it. Part of the investments that I made was into my speaking, right? I worked with, so I'm thinking about 3 coaches now. There's another coach I forgot to mention that I hired that I spent a lot of money with just for a day to work on a speech of mine. But really investing in my speaking ability so that I can show up, empower, and communicate at a level that not a lot of people in my industry communicate at. And just being real, I see a lot of your comments, thank you, are like, wow, you speak so well, or you're a really great communicator. Thank you. And I know because I spent a lot of money in order to be that, right? So this is what I'm saying. If you just pour into yourself, you won't have to worry about the noise and the competition and all the people calling themselves coaches because you're gonna be playing at a level that they're not playing at. But that's my point. You gotta play at that level first and then you'll get paid at that level. It doesn't work the opposite way. All right, the 5th thing that I really focused on that helped me scale from 6 to 7 figures is building in repeatable revenue in my business. This is just so important. In fact, I would say that's probably the defining feature I've noticed between a lot of 6 and even multi-6 figure entrepreneurs and 7-figure entrepreneurs. 6 and multi-6 figure entrepreneurs are like really good at what they do, right? Like I would say they're like maybe top athletes in college. So because they're really good at what they do, and I was really good at what I did at that level, there is an ability to kind of like make it rain like when necessary, So because you're good, because you've got a name for yourself, you built your brand, like you've got clients or whatever, if you are like low on cash flow or you're having a slow month, like you know what to do to like, boom, launch something or create something or just show up and make it rain and get the clients and get the money in the door. But doing that all the time pulls you out of building the business and the systems that you need in order to hit 7 figures. So it's scary to go from 6 to 7 figures because you actually have to stop doing a lot of that rainmaking activity and focus on building systems and structures so that you have repeatable revenue coming in. And so you'll actually find maybe your revenue will dip a bit, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm going 6, multi-6. You try to get to that 7-figure level, you got to stop doing some of what you're doing. That revenue might take a hit and you're investing very heavily. Again, not just in mentorship, but in support staff. Like, trust me, it gets scary because you're like, oh my goodness, I'm pouring all this money in and I'm not doing the things that normally, bring the money in for my business. But don't worry, it's like, in the movies, the airplane like is going down and you're like, oh my goodness, they're all gonna die. And then at the last minute, it like comes back up and they go over the valley and they're like flying. That's how it is getting to 7 figures when you're building those systems in place. So you really want to focus on creating repeatable revenue, building that into your offers, the type of offers you're selling. Like, it's just a lot, like way more than I can share in this video, which is why if you are a 6 or multi-6-figure entrepreneur looking to scale to your 7 figures, I would love to work with you. I actually have a brand new intimate coaching program that's just for 6 and multi-6-figure entrepreneurs just like you, where I work with you directly in order to help you make that leap. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to see if you qualify and if you'd be a good fit for the program, go ahead and click the link below to speak with my enrollment team and we'll get you all signed up, and I can't wait to work with you. Okay, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait until my next video, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait until my next podcast episode or my next video, make sure you're following me on Instagram. Just come on over. I share the behind the scenes of my life as well as more tips just like this. So leave a comment on my latest Instagram post, follow me, send me a DM and say hey. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.